Hell no, man. Damn, trying to get this mic right. We here. You gonna share it? What the hell? On our way home. Another good day of work. No issues, smooth, focused, locked in, handling business. We on our way home. Springfield, Massachusetts. It's warm. We going to Connecticut like how we always do around this time. I'm a little early on the tap in. Eating these Skittles. I shouldn't be eating them, but this is my snack time before dinner. What up, Bree Page? And it's gonna be a lot of smacking and chewing and sucking. Pause. This ain't Dirty Thursday. So y'all gonna have to deal with this for the next few minutes. Hopefully your Tuesday was and is productive. On this side of the earth, the Tuesday is not over yet. I guess if you somewhere in Fiji, Japan or something like that, it's already tomorrow. But here on the tap end, Eastern Standard Time is the law. So that's the only thing that matters. I remember, I forget which movie I was watching, like 2012 or something. You remember, for those that can remember when everybody thought the world was going to end in 2012, and it was some movie named 2012. I don't know. Somebody just made a funny comment. It was like, yo, the world is about to end 6 p.m. 2012. And somebody was like, is that Eastern Standard Time? And it's funny because, like, I think Fiji, I'm doing good, Bree. I think Fiji sees sunlight first or whatever, you know? And so you got people on the other side, like California, the other side of the world or whatever. I guess the day changes last for the West Coast or whatever. So once January 1st, 2012 hits in Fiji, like technically does it end when it's sunrise for them, or does it end when it's sunrise for California or whatever? So that's just funny to me. That whole concept. People are thinking the world was going to end. You got to go, I guess, based on a time. I think there's like an atomic time. Hey, thanks for subbing. Yeah, sub to the page, man. I appreciate y'all. I'm doing good. I'm feeling healthy. You know, for those that follow me, they know I've been dealing with IBS for the past 5 years, but it's been really, 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 really improving Like within the last couple of weeks, I think I finally got a hold on that. My digestion, it'll never be the same. But as long as I can manage it and maintain it, you know, I'm happy with that. As we get older, our bodies will never be as optimal as it was 5, 10, or 15 years ago. But the whole point is to make it as optimal as it possibly could be. Like this car that I'm driving, it's a 2016 model. We're in 2026. It's 10 years older. It will never be at the performance level that it was when it was first driven off the lot. But if I can maintain those tire rotations, renew the tires when they wear down, renew those brakes, spark plugs and things of that nature, if I could just maintain it, that's what it's all about. It's all about, hey, what up, Valerie? It's all about being at your healthiest as much as possible. The irony of me, a man with type 2 diabetes, eating Skittles, talking about being at your healthiest as much as possible. I think that is funny. What up, Orange? Orange Otter 86 was good. If 86 represents the year you was born, welcome to the club, baby. This is your 40th year. You've made it. So give it up for yourself for making it in the physical form, 40 years. Because many don't have the fortune to make it in this physical existence. 4 decades of life in this form. You made it there. So clap it up for yourself. And give yourself a hand. All right, we're going to dive in. If y'all see the topic of the video, oh my God, I'm about to die. Look at this water. Oh, sorry. Whew. Campaigning for nonsense. Let me know how I sound. Let me know if you guys can hear me good. See, I got the lapel mic. Since I've been having this lapel mic, it's been a lot less wind and interference on the microphone. You know, people get campaigning for nonsense. And if any of you guys watch my video yesterday, I would say go back and watch it. I feel like that's one of the best videos I did. I talked about we heating up, so what are some days we can cool down? When I was talking about the Chud the Builder situation, Chud the Builder is an online guy, shock white guy that pushes racism, and he pushed because he's in prison right now on trial for attempted murder, but he just tries to push the envelope, get around random black people, say the N-word, and if they get offended and lash out against him, he says they're chimping out, and essentially he's provoking them to do something that puts him in the position to either A, use his bear mace on them that he carries about, or B, use his gun. I'm 47. Orange Otter 86. I'm 47. I just turned 47 in March. 2 months ago. That's going on 2 months. Actually, no. It's literally been, today's like the 20th, 19th, yeah. It's been 2 months since I've reached year 47 on this planet. I don't think I look that bad for a 47-year-old. After salt and pepper, yes. I rock the old man hats, but I've been rocking the old man hats since I was in my late 20s, so that's always been my steez. But the whole thing with Chud the Builder, he claimed his whole purpose was free speech and how we should be allowed everybody should be allowed to say any word they want to say. And to an extent, especially if you're in America, I agree. As far as free speech, you have the right to say any word that you want to say. Now, not everybody may agree with the word that you say, and certain words that you legally are allowed to say can trigger some individuals. Now, there's some exceptions. You can't incite a riot, and I don't think a lot of what he was doing was inciting people. You know, it didn't cause a riot yet, but it caused him to pull out his gun and shoot a dude in the gut that punched him in the face, which is why he's in jail with a, I think, either 1.5 or 2.5 million dollar bond. You know, and it's caused all types of chaos. You know, if he gets through this situation, he's never going to really be able to get a job, or at least not no public job. Like, it's going to have to be underground to portray this character. You understand what I'm saying? I need you to address the racist. You know what's funny, Deadpool, man? I'm going to address that. Honestly, the best way for me to address the Kevin Hart roast, because I agree with first of all, I don't like roast the way they do it, because they're always trying to dig into your dark background. And I talked about this on another one of my pods. To me, it's like comedy. You got the it's like Star Wars. You got the light side of the force, you got the dark side of the force. When you get into the roasting, and I ain't talking about snapping, where you just kind of making fun of what you see in front of you. I'm talking about getting into the racism and pedophilia, making fun of the dead and stuff like that. I don't think any of that stuff is funny. I think it's all corny. But Umar Johnson, and I like a lot of his messages, but I don't follow him too much. But I will say, if you want to know how I feel about the Kevin Hart roast, just watch what Umar Johnson did on the Art of Dialogue, and I agree with all of his sentiments. And he even brought out the way he was basically saying was they got on Cheryl Underwood so much, and I noticed that they basically were saying that was basically a retaliation to the roasting that Drewski did towards Erica Kirk. And now that he says that, it makes a lot of sense. But watch what Umar Johnson recently did within the past week or so on the Art of Dialogue, and that's my answer. But I don't rock with roast. It's not even on the roast. I think the most creative one, to me, the dopest one. I think Tony Hinchcliffe had the best jokes, but the George Floyd one wasn't necessary at the end. That spoiled whatever he was doing. And but I think Naeem Lynn probably had the best jokes, and Cheryl Underwood did good too. But anyway, back to the Chud the Builder. But good stuff, good Deadpool, man. Good stuff. Good comment. I thought the roast was corny. Overall, I thought it was corny. 3 hours of just a pass just to say the most racist stuff possible, and the stuff wasn't even that clever. It's like, come on, man. It shows more writing ability and skill when you could take a roast and not do the expected racist, pedophile, low-hanging jokes and still be dope, still be as effective. Challenge yourself to be just as funny without doing the things that people expect you to do. That's the different level. But anyway, Chad's whole thing was just proving we got freedom of speech, and anybody should be able to say anything to anyone at any moment. You can do that, but you can't control how they react towards you. And like I said, yes, there's freedom of speech. I remember where I was at. I got the pen inside my head. But there's certain things you can't say. You can't go into a train station or a plane and just like say bomb or a fire in a movie theater. You know what I mean? You can't say stuff that's just going to cause a stampede. Freedom of speech it is still within reason to a certain extent. And I think if you're running around saying stuff, inciting people, freedom of speech should not be protected in those circumstances, a situation. I got a bald head, I got a shave too. It shouldn't be protected, and it's not. But this is my thing. Whenever they are lobbying for free speech, and lobbying for certain words that they can say. Why is the N-word always the example? That's the only word. There's all types of slurs. I'm not going to say them because I don't want my channel to get banned. There's slurs for Puerto Ricans. There's slurs for Mexicans. There's slurs for Japanese. There's slurs for Chinese. There's slurs for Italians. What else? There's slurs for Polish people. There's slurs for Middle East. There's slurs for Indians. And they pretty much both get the same slurs, even though they're nowhere near each other. I mean, there's slurs for Albanians. There's slurs for every single, all these groups. But they only want to have the right to freely, when they use an example of a word everybody should say with no consequences as a representative of, the power and free speech, they always use the N-word. They never use any other word. They only lobby for that word. Why don't they lobby for any other words? To an extent, I put some of the blame on my people because we did take a very negative, derogatory, disgusting word and we flipped it into a term of endearment. We use it through our music. We use it in movie titles. We use it in comedy album title. One of Richard Pryor's, one of his albums, Bicentennial Ninja, you know? I think a few of his albums got the N-word in it. So they I don't know if they created it because they say the N-word comes from like the mispronunciation of African countries or Negus or whatever. There's a whole bunch of different theories as to where the word came from. But we do know those that enslaved our ancestors used the variations of that word to try to put us down. You know, not try to put us down. We took something that was negative and we flipped it into a term of endearment. We made it look cool. And they saw it. Oh, snap. They took what we said, put them down. They made it cool. So we want to take it back. Nah. But that's just a double standard. Sometimes there are double standards you can't cross. They fight so hard to be able to say a word freely that was created to put us down, that we flipped and made good. It's like they gave us the chitlins, they gave us the intestines of the pig. Eat this, you ninja. It's like, damn, this is the most disgusting part. This is literally where all the waste goes. You know what? We're going to clean out this waste. And I hate chitlins. They're disgusting. We're going to clean out this waste. We'll put some vinegar, you know what I'm saying? Season it up, boil it, put some vegetables or whatever, how they make it. Bam, it's delicious. So you gave us something that you thought was disgusting that we would hate. We ain't like it at first, but we still made the most of it. And now you're trying to take back our chitlins? No, you can't have the chitlins. You can't just throw something away or something that you threw to us that you didn't like at all, that you thought basically to torture us, that you thought we would hate, and we still took a way to flip it and make it delicious. And now you want to campaign for it? Nah, yo. Some things you can't have. Sometimes it's a double standard. Women, like Tommy said this, women call each other the B word all the time. But we can't just randomly just run up on women. Hey, what up, bitch? What up, bees? What up, bees? You know, no. There are double standards in society. Things that I would let my family get away with, as far as talking and stuff like that, strangers wouldn't get it. Like we show double standards all the time. There's certain ways, certain things that you would let your family get away with that you wouldn't let outsiders get away with. That's a double standard. We do it all the time. But here's my thing. Why don't they ever campaign to use any of other racial epithets? Why? Why is it only the N-word? The biggest one, the K-word. The K-word, the derogatory term for those individuals who one of their symbols is a six-pointed Star of David. I'm trying to like keep my channel clean. Not clean, but not get stricken. It begins with a K. Why are people that's trying to use the N-word not trying to lie and use that word? Why not? Like I said, I blame my people to the extent we made it look so cool and we do it so comfortably amongst each other that other people on the outside think it's okay. And a lot of times, some of our people give passes too. When it comes to that six-point Star David group, the individuals whose hats are not that big and only sit on the back of their crown, like miniature do-rags, they don't go for that. They joke with each other like that. I can't think of any Jewish comics. Shafir, who's very aggressive on stage. I think he's funny. You know what I'm saying? Yes, his jokes can be tasteless, like what he said about Kobe Bryant years ago when he passed away. But that he does that with a lot of celebrities. I've never seen him on video do something that extreme against another celebrity that just passed away. But that's neither here nor there. I never even seen like as the craziest stuff that Ari Shafir says or does, like dosing his. I think he dosed Bert Kreischer one time. Like literally gave him like when Bert Kreischer was trying to be sober, and Ari Shafir like gave him an edible or something, not to his knowledge, or something extreme. You know what I'm saying? Ari Shafir says some crazy stuff. I never seen him refer to himself as the cool K word that rhymes with the bike. The cool, and then that would flow because it's like a KK. The cool, you know what I mean? The cool bike. I've never seen him say nothing like that. I never seen Jerry Seinfeld refer to his friends as my K words. Never. I never seen the word the K word that rhymes with the letter bike, word bike. I've never seen that on any album covers, songs, movies. I've never seen that word ever because that group just won't tolerate it. And if we really want to eradicate the word, we just have to not tolerate it as a whole. Or we keep making it look cool. We keep making these chitlins smell good and look good. People that's not a part of our folk don't want to taste the chitlins. See, I'm taking accountability for my people, but at the same time, the other people that want to use the word so bad, why don't y'all campaign and lobby with other words? I would have more respect. Like I think George Carlin did it. I think I gotta listen to the seven deadly words or something. I forget what his comedy special was, but he said all them shits. You know what I mean? But at that point, to me, he wasn't even doing comedy. It was more like poetry. It was more like rapid fire, rhythmic rants. It was more like poetry. But nobody, you know what I'm saying? Like, who is it? Artie Lang. Home got this N-word joke. I think it's hilarious. But the way he did it, he wasn't doing it as if he was saying it. He was saying, I'm kind of spoiled. I'll spoil the joke. I don't care, whatever. Nobody watches this. But he was saying he was playing basketball with some brothers, and he just kept on saying, hey, my ninja, pass it by, my ninja, yo, over here, ninja, yo, give me ball, ninja, set the pick, ninja, blah, 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 ninja, come on, ninja. Like, he just, basically, the way he painted the picture, it sounded like a hood basketball court in Brooklyn, and there's just a bunch of brothers just throwing the N-word around. That's what it is. And so he tried to say the N-word, but he said it with the hard R, because he said, I'm open, ninja, with the hard R, and then he wound up getting beat up in the joke or something like that. But to me, that was a craftsmanship that was done. He wasn't lobbying for it. He just did it in his joke, and he stood for the consequences. Nobody ever canceled him. Nobody ever canceled Artie Lang for that, man. I think because it's actually really funny and a good joke. Now, Michael Richards, when he blew up against those hecklers and just said, you're just an N-word, you're just an N-word, N-word, you'd be hanging by the tree if this was in the late 1900s, 1800s or whatever. There was no humor in the way he did it. So part of it, what makes the chitlins something that disgusting is good, I guess how you season it or whatever, but still, white folk don't need to be serving no chitlins. That is a black delicacy. That's a black cuisine. But my people, we the ones that still serve something that's so disgusting. I'm not going to say I ain't going to never use the N-word again, but it's like, I'm more conscious and cognizant of it. I'm becoming more of a cleaner comedian. And it's like, yo, I don't really have to really use that word to still convey my feelings. I like saying king. I like saying, God, what up? What's good, God? What's good, king? What's good, pimpin'? What's good, player? That's what I say when I refer to my brothers. My bro. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, because I feel it, and I see this, the racism and the zeitgeist. You know, part of it could be attributed to the administration. How some people can be emboldened by 47, and they feel like they got a lot more protection with how they carry themselves because they feel like that is the vibe of the country right now. I guess so. And because of that, because to me, it's like if you watch the Kevin Hart roast and just all this Chud the Builder and chitlins is disgusting constantly. Chud the Builder, and I'll never eat them. My mother cook them almost every Thanksgiving. They stink. Nah, man, I don't touch that. I smelled that just as a kid. If I smell it, no. I guess some people like the smell of boiled doo-doo. I don't like it. But, in light of like Chud the Builder, Fresh and Fit, even though they're of black skin, one is I don't know if Fresh, I don't know if Fit is Somalian, but they're not foundational black Americans. They're not black Americans. Their roots are heritages from other countries. I think Fit is Somalian, and I think Fresh is like West Indian or something like that. I can't remember. But now that they pushing way more like racist rhetoric. Sneeko. I used to like Miss Pearly things, but now she on it. Miss Pearly on that. Who else? I just see so much racism and so much of this in the zeitgeist. I'm not going to add to it by just casually throwing that word around, man. I'm not going, because to me, I just added to the fire, giving them justification, thinking it's cool. It's not cool, yo. It's not cool. I can be funny. I'm funny without it. You can be funny, like, yo, I'll be teaching these, I don't teach these young comics as much, but I could, blah, 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 I'll be saying the joke, you see how I said mother, but I didn't say it. There's ways you can say swears without saying it. Just catch yourself. You stupid nincompoop, you know what I mean? Like, there's creative ways where you can flip that. You can kind of do a fill in the blank, let the audience fill the blank in their head of whatever it is you're going to say, and still convey the same message and the same energy without necessarily putting it out. That's where the creativity of the writing comes in. That's where the science comes in. But these people ain't trying to apply the science, man. They just want the easy way out. And if you watch that Art of Dialogue interview with Umar Johnson, it was just a free pass and liberty to just be as blatantly crass and racist as you possibly want to be with zero backlash, man. Nah, yo. But they don't campaign for that K word. Why is it? I posted a Facebook status today. Nobody really responded too much. And I said, what do you think society deems as the most offensive slur that anybody could say? And, of course, a couple people they automatically go to the N-word. And I said it like this. I say, you want to know how you're wrong? You want to know why society is not that offended by the word? And the only reason why there's friction with that word in society as far as saying it is because there are a lot of black folks that stand in their square that will not accept folks that are not black using the word. That's the only reason why. But you can say that the N-word is the most frowned upon word by the society. But it's not true, because the N-word has made people billionaires in rap music, album titles, in comedy, book titles, movie titles. It is a term of endearment amongst black folks. It's just used all the time. Way too much money has been made off the usage of that word. But I ask you the question, how much money was made with the branding of the word that starts with the letter K and it rhymes with bake? How much money was made off of that word? How much money was made off the derogatory term of a Mexican when they cross over the water and their back is parched? How much money was made off of the derogatory term for Puerto Ricans? It is similar to a cleaning product called Stick and Stand. I had to say that fast because I don't want to, How much money was made in book titles, movie titles, and lyrics for the derogatory term for Chinese people that starts with a CH and rhymes with the word steak? How much money was made for the derogatory term for Japanese people where the derogatory term is just the first three letters of Japanese? How much money was made for the derogatory term of Polish people? It kind of sounds like the word bollocks, but put a P on that and an ak at the end. That was kind of weird for me to make that. You know what I'm saying? There's no money, there's no movies, album titles, rap song lyrics that frivolously use these negative slurs from other groups. Jadakiss literally, and All About the Benjamins, they literally censored Jadakiss's, they muted the word Hebrew. He said something we do. He said stack chips like Hebrews. Why would they silence that? Jewish people ain't rich. That's the truth. And that's just the word Hebrew. In the song, all I gotta say is that They Don't Really Care About Us by Michael Jackson. Michael said, kick me, the word that starts with letter K, but rhymes with bike. So kick me, bike me, something bite me. All I want to say is that. And all he was saying was that negative term is a term that they use as a derogatory term towards Jewish folks. So basically, he was saying, do something derogatory to me like you did to them. That's all he's saying in the lyrics. He wasn't putting them down. They made him get rid of that lyric, even though it wasn't putting them down at all. So when you look at this, that particular word, because I've heard derogatory terms for Spanish people thrown around. I've heard derogatory terms for Japanese people thrown around. I've heard derogatory terms for Chinese people, Indian people, Middle Eastern people, African people, German people, Russian people. I've heard derogatory terms for all these individuals. But when it comes to that word that starts with the letter K and rhymes with the word bike, it's almost like the Tetragrammaton. The Tetragrammaton are the four letters in the Torah. It's YHVH. That means Yahweh, and eventually people translate. They changed it to Jehovah. But they said that word was so holy that nobody was allowed to speak it within the Jew of the Talmud or whatever, and so holy to the point where they got rid of that word out of the Old Testament completely and just replaced it with God. Adonai and Elohim. Adonai means Lord. Adonai means Lord. Elohim means God. They literally replaced the Tetragrammaton, the YHVH, they thought that name was so holy that they took it out of all their scriptures. I'm gonna tell you like this: that K word may even be more holy than the Tetragrammaton. Because I can say Jehovah, I can say Yahweh, and I'm not going to get canceled by the what is it, Jewish JDL, Jewish Defamation League. I think that's what it's called, JDL. I'm not going to get canceled by them. And that's literally Yahweh. And Yahweh was a word they took out of the Tetragrammaton because they thought it was so holy. But I can say that no Jewish person is going to cancel me. But if I say that K word that rhymes with the word bike, whether it's serious in a speech, whatever, where I'm talking about the origin, or I put it in a joke in stand-up comedy, or I put it as a quote in a movie or something like that, or I don't even recall hearing that in movies much. The only time I heard it, like, really, was on Patrice O'Neal. It was Patrice O'Neal, Louis C.K. They were on Obie and Anthony years ago, and Patrice was explaining in Ellis Island when they were like numbering the Jews, they had this little circle. It's called a kaikel. You know what I'm saying? Now I could say that's actually a word, a kaikel, but they just shortened it to that first word, and that's where it came from. And then, of course, Louis C.K. And it was kind of funny, but he said, "You want to know where nigger? You want to know where nigger came from? How it got started?" He said these two guys, they were just being a nigger, and so like they called him nigger, and that's where it came from. You know what I'm saying? And the preacher was like, "Nigger was a feeling." Just you gotta hear it. I'm butchering it, but even me saying that, the shit sounds uncomfortable now, man. Like Patrice O'Neal was literally giving a serious reason as to where the K word came from. And so, I mean, it was great timing, but Louis C.K. had to make up this fake story of where the N word came from, basically just to give him an opportunity. A lot of white comedians and white folks, they will take every opportunity possible to be overtly racist, but guise it as stand-up comedy, man. It is what it is. So to me, if you are campaigning to have permission to say the N-word, but you're not campaigning to freely say all of these other racial epithets, especially the word that is more holy than the tetragrammaton, because I can say the tetragrammaton and not get canceled, but if I say that bike word, I'm getting canceled. I'm probably going to get canceled for saying kaikel. You know what I'm saying? Even that's literally a word. I'm just saying, people campaigning for nonsense, man. Campaigning for nonsense. This is a little off-brand, but I had to talk about this. I don't feel like I took any specific side. I think I was being pretty objective. I think I was just essentially just calling out the foolishness and the nonsense and the hypocrisy. And as I always say, to all my young and up and coming comedians, there is no such thing as writer's block. If the comedy guys have not given you anything new to subscribe on that page, that is their way of telling you to work out and perfect the things that they already gave you. Stay away from the nonsense. Stay away from the foolishness. Stay away from the gossip. Stay away from the rumors. Focus on the funny. Lead with love, baby. Life is not something that happens to you in spite of you. Life is an experience to behold, so get to behold it. With that being said, I love every single last one of y'all. Hopefully I don't get canceled because of this controversial episode that I just had to put out. I don't think I cursed. I don't think I said anything overtly racist or anything like that, or I didn't overtly say the slurs. I think I spelled them all out. And hopefully I was clever enough with it, but who knows? I had to get this out of here, man. Share your comments, like, share, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Give me them thumbs up. Keep me in the algorithm. Let's build up this tap in. It's episode 66. All these weeks, man. 66. Some of those that's 11 weeks is 55. 12 weeks is 60. 13. We in 13 weeks of doing this. And some people was like, yo, you think you're going to be able to keep up the momentum? And that's exactly why I make the decisions that I make. Peace.